He's on the rope. He's spinned off the rope. He's moving around now and he's getting a little bit of a rhythm. He finally got that second win. Can't be stopped. Coming to a close, hands up. If men sidestep, 1, 2, please don't overextend. It's the endurance test, the real fight begins. Take a walk to this corner, come get your second win.
Welcome to the Second Win Boxing Media. I'm your host, Rashid Hammond, and alongside,
it's your boy Caesar Fantastic telling y'all hit that like button, sub to the page. We're gonna keep bringing y'all this content, great interviews, awesome legends, and everything. Just keep it up, man. Who we got today, She?
yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest in the building, man. This brother here is the equivalent of what a fighter's soul represents, man, like overcoming many obstacles and many things in life that could have got us all down. But he took that 8 count, took several 8 counts and got right back up. Definitely celebrating 36 years of being clean.
34 baby.
Years, 34 years of being clean, ladies and gentlemen. We have no other than DMV Boxing Legend Zone, Tony Suggs Sr. How's it going?
What's up, champ? What's up? It's going good.
Man, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on here, man. I've been trying to figure out a way to get you in here because the youth need to hear your story, and they definitely can learn from how ways to overcome and keep moving. The fight is not over till it's over.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Yes, indeed. So my partner, C's, is going to really go into depth and break down, to ask you some questions because he's been doing a thorough research on you, brother. So I'm going to hand it on over to him.
All right, Caesar,
man.
Let's go, champ.
Hey, I'm here. So first question is, when did you get started in boxing and what got you into boxing?
So what got me into boxing, because I've been fighting, even on my back of my book cover, it says that Tony Suggs is a boxer that learned how to is a fighter that learned how to box. So I've been boxing all my life because before I was born, my father was North Carolina State Penitentiary champ. And I'm his first boy, first son, so first child. And so automatically he was going to put all he knew into me. And as far as I can remember, my father was holding up his hands saying jab, jab, right cross. And I remember back to the age of 3, him holding up his hands, jab, jab, right cross, jab, jab, right cross. But consciously, he was training me to be a southpaw. That's why I used to get my left hand and right hand mixed up all the time. So as far back as I can remember, my father got me into boxing. Age 3 is when I started. But I didn't start any competition boxing until 81, 82.
Okay.
I was about 15 then.
Oh, okay. Oh, now I know I saw you speak a lot about the trouble in your household between your parents. Now, describe how that was growing up as a child.
We went. I would say, me, my brother, and my sister, we went through a lot of traumatizing events in our household. We had, I don't want to share everything like on the podcast, but you gotta get the book, to read in depth.
Okay.
But it was real traumatizing. A lot of domestic abuse, physical abuse, where my mom was breaking my father's leg with bats while he was asleep, stabbing him in the chest, almost killing him. If it would have went a little, a centimeter deeper, my father, breaking my mother's ankle with hammers. I mean, it was crazy, you know. So we went through a lot of traumatizing events, you know, in the household, you know, and then it's a lot deeper than that. So, but I had a real mean mother, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I try my hardest to try and think back where I can remember my mother kissing me, hugging me, and telling me she loved me. As hard as I try and think or remember back, reflect back, I can never remember my mother kissing me, hugging me, or telling me she loved me. You know, I was a real
Mm-hmm.
daddy's boy, and my mother and father used to uh, separate all the time, and I wish they would stay separated, but I knew the one time when the separation was gonna be final, when she left us with our dad. She left me and my younger brother with my dad, and I knew she wasn't coming back then. So
Mm-hmm.
so we dealt with some real traumatizing events in the household.
Okay. And now, with so much going on around you in the household, how did you keep that focus on in boxing in the ring?
Oh, I wasn't boxing then. I was just a young boy.
Oh, you
I
wasn't.
was just a young boy, absorbing all that in, having no one to talk to, thinking no one understand, thinking that no one else is going through the events that we were going through in our household. You know, being a young kid, not being able to talk about it. So it's a big secret, you know, what happened in our house, stays in our house. You can't talk about it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I held all that in for all them years. I would say from um I would say where it started affecting me, I would say I was around 9 years old at the time. So where I really started understanding all that was going on in the household. And
Mm-hmm.
so I kept all that in, buried stuff down inside without being able to talk about it to anyone, and or even thinking that anyone else going through anything that we was going through. But when my parents, you know, finally divorced and separated, we moved to Alexandria, and and then that's when I started getting involved with smoking marijuana and dipping and
Mm-hmm.
dabbing with different drugs, then PCP, and then being at the highlight of my career after winning the gold medal in the Olympic trials, the US Olympic trials. My daughter died less than a week later, and I just go off the
Mm-hmm.
deep end. I couldn't handle it anymore, and then I submerged myself in staying high and getting high. Back then, it was PCP, Love Boat, and I just started getting high, and then the judge had sympathy for me, recommended or sentenced me to counseling and therapy and all that. And then that's when I really got a
Mm-hmm.
chance to really understand the things that I was going through the therapy and counseling that I was receiving because of the death of my daughter. So
Okay. All right. Now, in the amateurs, what accolades did you accrue? Like, what tournaments did you win and things like that?
all of them. all of, um, um, I started out. I started out um, winning like small national tournaments, like the um, PAL tournament, PAL, Ohio State Fair, DC Mayor's Cup, and then 86, 87, I really blew up. 80, 86, 87, I really blew up, and then like 87, I was unstoppable. I was like a freight train. I was knocking everything out. People would change weight classes to avoid me. So I won the PAL, Golden Gloves, Ohio State Fair. Um, I placed in the finals at the Golden Gloves, National Golden Gloves. I lost in the championship. Um, I lost in the semifinals in the, I don't know if it's called the USA ABF anymore, but the USA ABF, that tournament, yeah, I fought this guy Skipper Kep twice, and they booed it the second fight because everybody thought I won in the Golden Gloves Nationals. And then after that, in 1987, and then after that, that's what qualified me to fight in the U.S. Olympic trials, and I won the gold medal in that. Um,
Okay.
Beating
Now,
Charles Murray
okay.
and Patrick Bird, and then
All right.
I got so much respect for this dude because when I first started boxing, that this dude is who I wanted to box like, and so no means what I want to like slander him or anything, but London Paul Walker, I knocked him out in the regional in the Potomac Valley region in the Golden Gloves.
Okay. All right. Was it any other boxers you looked up to as a youngin, like coming up? Like who was some of
And
the boxers you looked up to?
oh, Aaron Pryor and Marvin Hagler was my favorite two boxers. When I first started boxing, they said I need to
Okay.
pick somebody with a style that you want to be like, and I liked Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Pryor and Marvin Hagler. They was my favorite two.
Yeah.
And then as an amateur,
Yeah.
but as an amateur, I really love Paul. I love the way Paul fought. Paul Walker. He
Mhm.
applied a lot of pressure. Come forth, threw a lot of punches.
All right. Now, how was that rise to be the ranked number one amateur and like what almost historical speed? Like it was a quick rise. Like how was that for
Yeah,
you?
and yeah, it was. It was like crazy. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I just knew I was putting in the hard work. I was putting in the work to earn it because I live in Alexandria, Virginia, which is right over the bridge from DC, Maryland. But I would jog every Saturday morning from Alexandria to Haynes Point around the park and back home. That was I call that my stamina run. And then I run to the gym every day. Then a lot of times we'll go running together as a team. Then I'll run back home, which was 2 miles to the gym, 2 miles back home. Then sometime we might go on this run we call the suicide, which was about 5 miles. So I put in the work for it. And then it just happened all of a sudden so abruptly, because I didn't come through the JOs and stuff like a lot of the other boxers did. I started boxing
Mhm.
late. I always knew how to fight. Like I was saying, from my father teaching me how to box ever since I can remember and making me fight my cousins, my friends, and everybody, and got a pair of boxing gloves every year for Christmas. But I didn't start competition boxing until I was about 15, 16 years old. I think around 16.
Mhm.
And when that I always wanted that rise, I always knew that rise was gonna come, and I always looked, like I said, I looked up to Paul Walker because he used to wear that USA boxing gear to the fights, and I'm like, man, I like that. I gotta have that. I want that.
I want that.
So yeah, they have on sweatsuit and get in the ring with the shorts. I mean, and I know that was for an elite few, and I had to get it, and I put in the work to get it. So
All right.
but the rise was like uh it's like unexplainable. And you know, I put in the work for it, but you know, it was just God gifted talent
Hmm.
and hard
Okay,
work.
uh, now you mentioned the unfortunate passing of your daughter, which led you down a dark path. That path had you in and out of jail, and up and down, ups and downs. How low did you feel in that moment when you were locked up, and what was the final wake up call that you received?
Okay. Um, well, when I when I first started going to jail, you know, it was like pats on the, because I became, like I said, the number one boxer in the country, number four in the world, the man to beat for the 1988 Olympics. I go to court, and because my coach would come there and get a lawyer to pro bono me, and the judges smack me on the hand. Come on, Mr. Suggs, we need you to go to the Olympics. We never had nobody from Alexandria go to the Olympics. I was getting all these smacks on the hand, and then and then my last time was my wake up call when they got tired of playing with me, and the Olympics was over at this time. And I caught a charge, and I'm thinking they're gonna give me another smack on the hand because I'm Tony Suggs, and he gave me 8 years, and
Mm,
I went back to my jail. I went back to my holding pen, and I called my mom and told my mom they gave me 8 years, and she said that's what I get for living like I was living, and I broke down, started crying, and I knew I had to put on my big boy pants at that time, and went back to the jail, and my counselor asked me what happened, and I told him they gave me 8 years, and he said, "No, they can't give you 8 years with the trauma and the all the things you've been through in your life, you know, dealing with that and going to prison. You will come back out a worse person than you was when you went in." He said you need long-term treatment and therapy. So
mm,
my counselor wrote the judge a letter to reconsider the charge. They got my case back in court, reconsidered the charge, suspended all 8 years due to successful completion of a long-term drug program, which was a year-long program. I completed the program, and didn't look back. I never looked back. I dealt with the death of my daughter, because I really didn't know how to grieve the death of my daughter, because I wanted to love my daughter like I wanted my mom to love me. I had all these plans for my kids. I had a son and a daughter at that time. I had all these plans for my kids. And I wanted to spoil my daughter. I wanted to be her knight in shining armor. I wanted her to be a daddy girl, because I missed out on that love from my mom. My mom, like I said, I never remember my mom kissing me, hugging me, or telling me she loved me. And
mm,
but I was gonna do all that for my daughter. And when she died, I got mad with God, mad with the world, and thought because I was this big knockout artist, I was gonna show God. And that's when I went out on a
mm,
self-destruction mission. Got hooked on drugs, in and out of jail, and then crack was coming out at that time. Hooked on crack, crackhead, cold crackhead, and then I just like disappeared from the scene, for a while. And then I think I popped back up around 95, you know, to start back, to get back in the ring, to start back boxing. But, I had wasted my better years of my life in and out of jail,
mm.
on drugs.
Yeah, yeah.
So now,
Okay. Now on this show, oh,
go ahead.
now I was gonna say on this show we talk about mental health in boxing all the time. That's one of our major topics. That and unionization. And I know you say that boxing was therapeutic for you, but how important was the mental therapy and the counseling in your recovery process, and how important do you think that is in society today?
Oh, it is very important. It's very important. It's very important to talk. It's very important to try and understand, to come up with solution to your problems. Because people used to say, man, if I had the chance to go to the Olympic, I'd just stop using drugs. Man, if I had a chance to do this, or if I was that good, I wouldn't use drugs. I didn't want to use drugs. I wanted to stop. I wanted to quit, but I was hooked. I was addicted. I was an addict, you
Mhm.
know. But
Mhm.
it took for me to go to jail, to get some treatment, to get some therapy, to learn about I suffered from abandonment issues, yeah, and because I wanted my mom to love me a certain way. I wanted to be a mama's boy, but I didn't get that love from my mom. So when I had my daughter, I was gonna love my daughter like that, and then
Mhm.
God brought her home with him, and so it's like women, two females that I love the most, leave you, walk out on you. And then, I learned to
Mhm.
surround myself
Uh,
with a bunch of women. So if one leave me, I'll still have, women around me. And,
mhm.
I'll be getting that love, that affection, that sensitivity that I didn't get from my dad. Cause my dad, now I love my father to death. But my father was a man's man. You know what I'm saying? He
Mhm.
was a country man from the country, and then he was a hard man. He was like I said earlier, he was North Carolina State Penitentiary champ. So he taught me how to be a man. He taught me how to roll up my sleeves and work and, provide and, you know, um, be a protector and a provider. He taught me that part, but I needed that part that you learned from your mom. So mental health is really important. Counseling, therapy is really important to understand where you come from. And a lot of people think, you know, if you need a counselor, if you need therapy, then you weak. You're not a man. No, no, you more of a man if you willing to seek out counseling and therapy, and apply it to your life. It's big.
Mhm.
You more of a man. It don't make you no less of a man.
Okay. Now, as far as when you turned pro, did you still have the same passion for the sport at that point, or and what were some of the challenges you faced in turning pro after your prime, like after your prime, as you say?
Yeah. Um, I still had the passion, but I try to play catch up. I try to play rush, you know, and that didn't work out too well for me because I wanted to, in pro you starting out at 4 rounds, then you going 6 rounds and 8 rounds and 10 rounds and 12 rounds, and you just can't bang out like I was trying to bang out. You got to pace yourself, and I had always had a problem with
Mhm.
pacing myself and breathing. It wasn't until I started training with Pepe Carrera that I learned that I was holding my breath. You know, I just had so much anger.
Mhm.
But like I said, boxing was therapy for me. I had so much anger built up inside me. When I knocked out my opponent, I felt sorry for him because all that anger wasn't really directed towards them. It was just the built up anger I had inside me, and I developed a bad habit of holding my breath. And like I said, it wasn't until I started training with Pappy Carrera that I learned that. So you know, it's real important that
Mhm.
that you know I left my better years behind,
Mhm.
and I try to play catch up. And then on another note, like after I stopped using drugs, I started selling drugs. I became a drug dealer. And then so and then
Mm.
I never fully committed to my professional career like I did my
Mhm.
amateur career. I still had one foot in the streets and one foot in the gym.
Mhm.
I never put both feet, 10 toes down in the gym, which I should have, and that's why I go around now, talking to kids and doing the things I do in the community.
Yeah. Okay. You got some sheet?
Yes, indeed, man. I congratulate you today on your 34th anniversary of being clean. And it's today, which I say perfect timing for to be on here. And these stories are definitely more needed than the stories of those that make it and become world champions, because stories like this produce new champions, and it gives warnings to things to look out for and to learn from. Um,
Most
um,
definitely.
yeah. As a fighter, what I'm saying, former amateur fighter myself, man. It's countless stories that I can share of so many colleagues that I lost as well, who never got a chance to share their stories of recovery or things of that nature. They're now either in the grave or doing 1,000 years in prison. So, for the youth, what advice would you have for the youth? What would you tell them to look out for and to focus on, stay on the neural path?
My main thing would be choose your friends. Don't let your friends choose you. Because if you let your friends choose you, a lot of time the wrong people gonna choose you. And that's what happened to me because I was a shy kid, and a lot of the cool dudes that were selling drugs had the girls dressed nice, the cars, they started accepting me in, when they found out I was going somewhere, when they felt like I was going somewhere, I'm gonna be this great Olympian and make big money, make big money when I turn pro. And you know I had dudes come to me and ask me, could they be my personal drug dealer when I,
Wow.
go to the Olympics.
Mm.
But but it's important that they choose their friends and don't let their friends choose them because they want to be around. That's why I promote this shirt. That's why this is my brand, Iron Sharpen Iron, because you got to be around people that's going to sharpen you as a person, as a fighter, and where you trying to go. If they can't if they can't help you, support you, and what you're trying to do in life, then they shouldn't be around you. They not the people for you. So I would tell the youth, just choose their friends. Don't let their friends choose them. And I was honored to hang around the guys. I felt honored to hang around them, but all the time I had it mixed up. They was honored to be around me because really I was the man. I was doing something. I was going somewhere. But
Yep.
I didn't see it like that because I was shy, I was quiet. I just go in the ring and knock everybody out. But I thought I was honored to be around them all the time. They was honored to be around me. And then they turned me on to drugs. They pulled me away from my friends in my
Mhm.
peer group, to hang out with them. And then I always used to hear the guys over, Hillcrest and countless places in the city saying that, the hustler guys run them off the street or run them off the script and say,
Yep.
man, you box and get off the script. But it was like the opposite out VA. They, was accepting me in, giving me drugs and
Mhm.
using drugs with me instead
Yeah.
of telling me to get off the script. Come on, do something with your life, or again, I hear niggas dudes over city say, a hustler guy gave me some money to buy me some boxing shoes, or the
Yep.
hustler guy gave me some money to buy me some gloves, or whatever. But it wasn't like that, and and I was like, I wonder why it's so different. We so close, but yet so far. You know, the girls like boxers in the city, but the girls like the basketball player and the football player in school
No, for
over
real.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you deal with different dynamics, and you just got to keep your head screwed on straight, and regardless of what you may feel at that time, that people don't want to be around you, or people, but once you accomplish where you're going and accomplish what you're trying to do in life, then all that's gonna come, all that's gonna fall in place. They wasn't meant for you anyways. And I learned a lot of things through church, that everybody not meant to go on the level that you're going on. Everybody not meant to go on the journey that you're going on. Some people gonna fall off.
Yeah.
If they fall off, let them fall off. But you gotta keep on scribing. You gotta keep on rocking. You gotta keep on going for yours. Don't stop, don't quit, never give
I,
up.
so I pay attention to the some of the young fighters. Alexandra has a tremendous program of Olympians come through there. Um, do you go there? Which gym do you go to now?
Yeah,
Do
that
you?
where I work for the Department of Recreation for the city, but the boxing gym is actually at the recreation center I work at. Yeah.
Okay.
So they got a great program going on there. One of our homegrown, homebred, Troy Isley, went to the
Mhm.
Olympics. When Shakur Stevens was training for the Olympics, he was there. Keyshawn Davis and his little brother, they trained there. They was stationed there for a while. Yeah, but mainly my man Troy Isley, homegrown, homebred, straight
So
from
do
Alabama since he was like 8 years old boxing.
yes, indeed. Do you give them advice and talk to them and share your story with them when you see them?
Uh, that's a long, hard, bittersweet uh conversation, because me and the boxing coach, and it's a shame that it went down like that, but me and the former boxer coach, we didn't see eye to eye, and
Okay,
for a period of time, because we didn't see eye to eye, and I'm a man and he's a man, I just didn't go in the gym,
I
you
got
know.
you. I understand. Much
So it
respect.
was one of those type situations, and I wasn't welcome in the gym. I didn't go in the gym. I
Okay.
didn't need the gym. That's why I started this the program I started, because of the love that I had for boxing. I started the program called Boxercise,
Okay.
where I'm getting people in
That's
shape,
that.
training, and I'm giving them everything you can get from boxing, except the
The
punching.
comp.
Except you're not getting hit.
It wasn't was I remember Willie. Willie used to train Ox at
Willie Taylor.
Alexandria. Yeah, Willie Taylor. I have fought a couple of his guys
Yeah, he had a gym over in Arlington.
in Arlington. That's where it was. I know he was over
Yeah,
on that side because I
yeah,
fought
yeah.
two of his
Right
guys
next
over
to
there.
him. Yeah.
Okay, how's he doing?
Willie retired. I haven't seen Willie in a while, but he
Okay,
was doing well the last time I seen him. I think he retired it from everything. He laid back, chilling,
okay. So
enjoying life.
so you got the boxer size. How
I've
long
been
has
doing that strong for about 15 years.
okay,
Just
15
to get
years
it.
strong. So you get a joy out of helping other people with health and things of that nature.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was just featured on Channel 7 News because I got two guys in my class with Parkinson disease,
Wow.
and how the workout movement helps slows down the progression of Parkinson.
Yes, indeed.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's a joy. I just love helping people get in shape and taking care of their health, because when I retired from boxing, I said I'm gonna eat what I want, drink what I want, I'm not gonna watch my way to another day of my life. You know, I got as big as I ever been. I got up to like
Likewise.
189 pounds, and went to the doctor. I had high blood pressure, high
Mhm.
cholesterol, and the doctor gave me 3 months to get it down. Well, first
Okay.
they just started writing out prescriptions. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hold up. I want to make that my last resort. What do I need to do?
Yes,
He
indeed.
said, work out, change your diet, come back see me in 3 months. If you ain't right in 3 months, I'm put you on prescription, on medicine. So I said I never had this problem when I was boxing, so I'm gonna train like I'm training for a fight.
Yes, indeed.
Except I ain't gonna have no fight. And then when I go back and see him, I'm gonna see what happened. So I trained like I was training for a fight.
Yes,
Went back
indeed.
to see him, all my numbers was good.
Fight of
So
life.
that yeah, so that told me I need to make this a way of life, you know. And then
Mhm.
I noticed a lot of females in the gym in the fitness center that didn't really know what they was doing, and I realized that you gonna have fun because you punching something. They like to punch something. People like to punch something after a hard day at work, a stressful day at work, you know. And then you're gonna lose weight. You're gonna tone, you know. So it help you build up, build your character, your self esteem. So boxing help you in so many ways, you know. So I just use that to put back into my community. And I started that boxercise program 15 years ago. Now I'm doing it at two different locations, 5 days a week,
That's
six
great.
days a week,
That's
six days
great,
a
man.
week.
That's great. So, any young fighters that you have your eyes on at this present moment that you think are great fighters?
Um, Young fighters, as in amateurs or in pro.
Amateurs or pros? More likely pros.
We got. I can't remember this little youngin name. I love this little youngin we got at Alexandria. He just won a nationals, JO's nationals.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him. I can't remember his name though. Forgive me for that. And but yeah, we got a few guys coming out of Alexandria that's looking good. So I always like to see the home team, you know,
Mhm.
prosper and do good, regardless of, you know, the relationship with the gym, you know,
Right.
because, you know, regardless, I'm always gonna be the first, you know, the first national champ, the
That's
first
true statement.
yeah, the first Hall of Famer, you know.
Yes,
So
indeed.
I got a record that would never
Uh,
be broke. You might do some things after me, reach some higher length, you know, like Troy, he went to the Olympics, you know, did a great job, and hopefully he'll go on to win, you know, some world titles as a pro,
Yes,
you
indeed.
know.
So, what is
But
your amateur record? Because he
Speak of
broke
that
that
record, man.
down.
That
I
record
want to hear
crazy.
that
That
record,
record
man.
crazy.
yeah,
Let the
eh,
audience know your amateur record. I never. I mean, I've been around like some some top notch amateurs, man, from Floyd to Oscar. And please tell the people your amateur record.
138 and 12 with 116 knockouts.
Wow. Y'all hear that? Please say it one more time, brother. One more time.
100 138 wins, 12 losses with 116 knockouts.
That's
Knockouts.
ridiculous. That's you was a
Knocking everything out.
killer in that ring.
I'm telling you, no joke. People will change. I think me and Baker was going back and forth on Facebook about it. He
Uh-huh.
said, I thought I was the only one they would change weight classes not to fight. Nah, they would change. No, they would change weight classes to keep them fighting me.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a known knockout artist, but I ain't had no hundred and something knockouts though. You know,
So
I
I
know
had 100 fights.
it was very, very, very seldom that somebody go the distance with me.
Right.
Very seldom. You know,
Wow.
I went through the whole USA ABF and the Golden Gloves from regionals to nationals, knocked everybody out all the way until until the 2 fights I lost.
Wow. Well, I did something similar in a couple of tournaments, but God dang, that is, man. I definitely wish I could get a hold of some of your tapes or something, man, because I want to.
Matter of fact, I was surprised when I fought Patrick Byrd for the gold medal in the U.S. Olympic Trial Olympic Festival in '87. I didn't know how that guy was still standing because I was hitting him with some hammers.
Wow.
Yeah, I was hitting him with some serious. I don't know. I'm like, he can't. You know how like a good hard fight ruin a lot of fighters. They never
Yeah,
be the same.
that's probably.
He couldn't have been the same after that fight.
Yeah, I can believe it. If it get beat down like that, you change your whole. They never
Yeah.
recover from it. A lot of fighters.
And one of my favorite fights that I go back on was Marvin Hagler and the Beast Mugabe.
Oh yeah.
How the Beast Mugabe was like the shit until he fought Marvin Hagler
Never
and
the
took that
same.
beating, and then he was never the same
That's
after
right.
that. Yeah.
So who was some of your fighters? I know you already said Lyndon Paul Walker. Who was some of the fighters that you looked up to around this area other than him?
Um. I can't say. I never was. Paul was the only person that I looked up to because he was that man as an open when I was just starting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was an open fighter, so he set that level for me to push for. You know, he was the best. You know, and I was the type of person. I had that type of heart that if you want to be the best, then you got to fight the best. You know, and I look and I wanted what Paul had. You know, that USA gear,
Yeah.
the #1 spot in the country.
Yes, indeed.
You know, but I used to hear about this guy Ducky Johnson all the time,
Okay.
and then that fought out of Midtown or somewhere, but I never got to see him fight. But I used to hear about him, how he was like the best fighter in the Potomac Valley, and but when I seen him, I think he was like strung out on drugs or something, at that point,
Yeah.
and I remember saying I would never be like that, but then I wind up being like that.
Wow. So what
You
was
know.
this? What I remember, me and you. I think we was talking on Facebook one time, and we was talking about how you was telling us at one point Virginia was part of PVA, then they branched off. I remember.
Yeah, well,
when
I came through that.
Yeah, because I remember when I was fighting, Virginia always was separate from PVA. So what caused that? Why did that split?
Well, my coach Smitty, he just I guess because we was right there across the bridge, we was a part of PVA. And then when Willie Taylor started his gym, and then he got more connected to the Norfolk, Richmond gyms and all that, I guess he decided to become one entity with them, with the Virginia, North Carolina region.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And but I don't know why Smitty ever started that, but I came through the PVA.
yeah.
So, because I felt when you make it through the PVA, you go into the nationals.
Exactly. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Because I moved to Newport News.
And you're gonna do well in the nationals. You make
That's
it through
real
the
talk.
PVA.
That's real
Because
talk.
I mean, like back then we had great guys on our team, like Doc. Doc was ranked #9. He used to fight Victor Davis all the time in the championship.
Yeah.
Demetrius Davis, Victor Davis. He used to fight all the time in the championship, and Doc was a big knockout artist too. So, and I remember going fighting at Hillcrest, and the hustler dudes always would come and give me and Doc money at the end.
That's how
Because
it
when me
was.
and Doc come, when me and Doc come through the door, they say, "I got my money on the Virginia Bama's." You know, I guess people will, and I guess if they caught you sleeping, you will bet against the Virginia dudes because you feel like ain't no Virginia dudes coming over here doing that.
Right.
But you know, me and Doc,
Mhm.
me and Doc used to be in the championship all the time. Anthony Rolls, then you had Lynn Jackson, Glenn Jerry. We had ABC had a fierce team back then.
Yeah.
You know,
Seems like y'all got back to that level now too, man. Because
yeah,
when I first started getting back active and just start, researching fighters and stuff, I'm like, wow, Alexandria, Virginia is kicking butt, man. They not
They,
playing around,
yeah,
they.
yeah. They doing a great job being coached by Coach Steady. Matter of fact, he used to box back with me, and then he used to be my main man when I was training for fights.
Okay.
So and now he's finally the head coach of the gym over there. He doing a great job.
That's all right.
Got a lot of kids always placing in the nationals, you know, championships and stuff. So yeah, he doing a great job now, and I tip my hat to him.
So me and C's always talk about
Mhm.
the pension with fighters, right? Well, or retirement plans and unions. Do you think boxing needs some sort of a union or something to put together where fighters can have a retirement plan when this thing is said and done?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Some sort of pension, sort of retirement plan. I don't know how they gonna do it, or I don't know how they can do it, but they need to find a way to come up with something because there's so many boxers that dedicate their life to this sport and then come out of it, can't talk, um, balance all messed up, suffering from all kinds of injuries due to boxing,
Mm-hmm.
and then they stuck like that, living the rest of their life with no sort of pension or nothing coming in for it, and I promised my son I wasn't gonna get on this topic tonight, but that's kind of like why I don't like to train competition boxers because of the injuries I suffer from boxing,
Uh-huh.
um, and by the grace of God, I was able, to save some money from because I always worked in box, as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
and and I always save my money to say I'm gonna buy something. I ain't gonna leave this sport, with nothing.
Yeah,
So I was able to save some
Mhm.
money and put down on a house and buy a house and stuff like that.
that's all right.
But but so many other boxers, is not as fortunate. So
Yeah.
yes, and they come out the sport can't talk,
Yeah,
speech all messed up. They can talk, but just speech all messed up. Because every time you get hit side of the head, that's a concussion.
that's facts.
Mhm.
So all them and in life, all that stuff ain't good for you. You know,
I
so
just
yeah,
watched the. I'm sorry, brother. I just watched the live with Daryl Coley had
Cool. Mhm.
he had a Maurice Block on there.
Okay, yeah.
And Block is up in Germantown currently, homeless. And that kind of like sparked something in me to try to put something together
yeah,
for the brother, man, because I do have a philosophy, man. We all are lifetime members of the boxing community, and it's a brotherhood nationally, it's internationally actually. And
yeah,
I think we need to put something together to try to get him help, man, and try to get some form of help. And I know it's not just he has some mental health issues as I can see, and it got to be boxing related from being hit, knocked
yeah.
out.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I just prayed to God because I came out of retirement 3 times,
Uh-huh.
chasing that dream,
Yeah,
that wishing on that hope, and by the grace of God, I made it. I just prayed to God that he let me be able to walk away from the sport while I could still talk and still walk, and
Right.
so like my memory ain't the greatest, my speech ain't the greatest, my balance messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you won't know it, but especially with the balance part, you probably could tell my speech or whatever. But you know,
Mhm.
We
some
all got
people
memory
go,
issues, though. I think, man, because I
some people just go past their time, and boxing is one of those sports. Once you know it, and once you grab a hold of it, it's all you know. It's all
Yep.
you give your life to it. You commit your life to it, and sometimes it don't love you back.
Right.
It don't love you back like you love it,
That's
and you
true
gotta
statement.
be, and you gotta be willing to walk away and say, look, I just got to find a 9 to 5. This ain't working for me no more. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm at today, working 9 to 5. I mean, I love my job with the Rex, and I've been there a little 20 some years. I'm getting paid to do what I love. I love to teach people how to work out and
Yeah.
to train people. And, that's what I do. I work with kids. I'm coaching basketball, the little kids 8 and under basketball.
Okay.
And people come to me and say, Suggs, man, I don't understand how you can get these kids to do what they do. And I'm like, at 8 and under, I'm just teaching them that hustle, that drive, that dog. I'm just putting that dog in them at
Mhm.
a young age that they could use to take with them through life.
Yes, indeed. What
Mhm.
So
What would the younger Suggs tell? What would the older Suggs tell the younger Suggs
Oh,
today?
this is-
The older Suggs tell the younger Suggs.
um, stay committed, stay focused, follow your dream, follow your heart, don't give up, don't give in. You know, I was chasing that hustler dream, and then I was chasing the boxer dream at the same time. Where I should have just made a commitment just to chase the boxer dream. I should have stayed true to the sport. I and then I was gifted and talented in boxing.
Right.
I love the box,
Mhm.
and God blessed me with the talent to box. Talent to be a knockout artist. And honestly, I hated to knock people. I mean, I felt sorry for people because I will always knock them out. And so I used to feel like I relate to Mike Tyson. You know how he want to hug you and kiss you after the fight was over, after he done punish you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I felt like I used to feel like that. I felt sorry for my opponent after
Hmm.
yeah, but the the older Suggs would tell the younger Suggs just to stay true to follow his heart. See, I didn't follow my heart.
Yeah.
My heart was all in boxing, and I didn't follow it, and I let my youth get past me. you know, my better days, my better time, I wasted them in the streets. So that's why I wrote my book, to help young people know and realize you're not responsible for the family you born into, but you are responsible for what you do with it once you know better. Once you
Yes,
know
indeed.
better, you're responsible for doing better.
Speaking of
You
the
know.
book, what give
Mm.
let's have the
That's
owners get the title of the book.
I thought you'd never ask, no.
Yeah, yeah, we
But
definitely
here
going
it
to
no,
ask.
that
is.
was gonna be my next. I was waiting.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
called The Beast Within,
let,
Still
let
the
me
Champ.
do you have a link that we can
hold it up real quick.
bring it in a little closer? There we go. Over to your left. There you go. Right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And where can we get this book?
You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it off my website at www.thebeastwithin.stt.
Okay,
Okay.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna
post
link
it
it
on
in
the
the
link in the
description.
description. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna link it in
And
the
then and
description.
then
Now, what led you to write this book?
because of all the things I've been through, and how it came out at the end. you know, and how I came out at the end. You know, I was featured article in the Washington Post magazine, and they named the story Redemption.
Wow.
You know, and and I was like, wow, my story is a redemption story because I set out to do for all the youngins what I wish the older guys had done for me. You know, I set out to be that role model to show them that they can win, to show them, to teach them to be leaders and not followers. You know, so you had a few older guys that wanted to keep me on the right path, but you know, but for the most part, you know, they invited me to doing the wrong thing, the bad thing.
Well,
Okay.
brother, man,
And
it
writing
was a
that book, did oh, my bad. Now, writing the book, did you find that to be therapeutic as well? Just getting the story out
Oh,
even more.
it was the most therapeutic thing I ever done in my life.
wow.
Yeah, and you know what? And it was the most therapeutic thing I ever done in my life, and it took me 10 years to write my book to finish it because I wanted to be
uh, uh,
rigorous, honest when I wrote.
Mhm.
I didn't want to fabricate it. I didn't want to, you know, lie. I didn't want to, you know, sugarcoat. I wanted to make it relatable. So the book is relatable. It's an easy read. I wrote it with young men being in mind. Um, yeah, so you know, I had to be willing to fall out with my family because the family fell out with me for a while, you know. Because, you know,
mhm,
especially, you know, older people, the older generation feel like what happened in the house stays in the house. And, you know, you don't
uh,
tell what goes on in the house and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So I just had to be um willing to deal with and look at the big picture and know all that was gonna come down the pipe and be willing to deal with it. You know, I rather serve God than to serve, you know, my family, you know,
Yeah.
because at the end,
uh,
God,
uh,
that's how I win, you know.
okay.
Yeah.
And to
That's
tie it all in a bow, how was the being inducted into the DC Boxing Hall of Fame? What was that feeling like for you?
Man, it was the greatest feeling in the world. I feel like my hard work was recognized, you know, because I thought I was just at the point nobody had never really see or know or recognize the hard work I put in, especially as an amateur
mhm.
boxer. And it is so funny. I was outside scratching. I was outside scratching, getting ready to go for a run. And dang, I think I get his name. The dude, the white dude that used to run Hillcrest.
Bobby
But
Magruder.
yeah, Bobby Magruder called
Mhm.
me and he said, "Can I speak to Tony Suggs?" I said, "Speaking." I said, "Who am I speaking to?" And he said, "What you doing November the 18th?" I say, "I don't know. Cause my wife keep my calendar." I say, "I don't know. Let me check with my wife." I'm like, "Why? Who is this?" He said, "Well, you doing something now on the 18th?" I'm like, what I'm doing?" I thought it was, so at this point, I feel like it's somebody I know. It's somebody I know, but who? He said, this Mr. Magruder, you getting inducted into the Washington D.C. area Hall of Fame on November 18th, and you know, I was like, yeah.
That's amazing.
It made me feel like, you know, my hard work and what I put in as an amateur boxer it had been recognized, you know. So it was one of the greatest feelings in the world, you know. It even brings chills to me now, you know,
Yeah.
thinking about it, you know. And you know, I just go around like, you know, and there's I use that for another stepping stone to help, you know, because when you go to schools and churches, youth detention centers, jails, it's almost like you got to be qualified to go in there. So you know, being a Hall of Famer helped qualify me. It helped to open their ears
Mhm.
to listen to me. To, you know, so when I tell them, look, you don't want to go down that way, because you go down that way, you always gonna come out on the wrong end. There's always trouble down that end. So you know, it helped add more velocity to my story. You know.
Yes, indeed, man. Well, it was an honor, man. And C's, you got any more questions?
We good, bro.
And it's an honor and a pleasure, brother, to have you on here, man. I
The honor
definitely
and pleasure was mine. The honor and pleasure was mine because do you remember the conversation I had with you? I said you always recognizing all them DC dudes,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I do
From the
remember that.
city, yeah.
I
I
do
said you
remember
never
that.
get show nobody from
Oh,
Virginia no
no
love.
love. Yeah, I remember that, man. I would never forget it. It
Yeah,
wasn't intentional, though. Trust me, it wasn't intentional.
yeah,
I just got caught in that mindset. Remember, my time frame was that PVA was separate from Virginia,
yeah,
So I
yeah.
came up in the
You
time
never
frame.
knew we was together.
I never knew we was together.
Yeah,
I've heard fighters mention at one point it was, but I
yeah,
was always and it didn't make sense to me at all at that time. Here it is, I could go across the water and we fighting a different, that's a different LBC. I wasn't
yeah,
used to it didn't make no sense to me because you on the Potomac and you're not a
yeah,
part of the Potomac. It didn't make no sense at that
yeah.
time. So
I guess because we was on that end, we had the option to go either way.
yeah, that's true.
But I was thankful I came through the PVA. It made me tougher, made me harder, made me stronger because I don't know how much you know about Southeast, but I was born and raised in Southeast until age 9
Okay,
in
yeah.
Linden, Poland. I
Oh,
lived in
really?
Linden,
Wow, yeah,
Poland.
we know it. We from Southeast, man. Both of
Okay,
us from
yeah. We
Southeast,
from
man.
Southeast
Oh,
too.
so y'all Linden, Poland,
And
right?
yeah, Linda Poland was mean, man. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, I got robbed at age 9 over Linden, Poland.
Linda Poland wasn't no joke, man.
Hey.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful now, though. It's beautiful what they turned into it. It's beautiful
yeah,
now. Yeah.
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 Yeah, so so when I came over there, I thought they, dudes from over the city, cross the water, automatic thought I was gonna be a punk or a sucker because I was from Virginia. But all
Yeah.
the time, I was from Linden, Poland, hung out up in Highland, Conga Terrace all the time
All
with my
that, yeah.
cousins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what that
so
definitely all that
matter
Fourth
of fact,
Street.
I went to Highland and Draper.
Okay, you went to Highland Drape. So you really Southeast, just
Yeah,
moved out.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's why I let them know that punk stuff wasn't going here.
Nah,
You know.
Oh,
that's why you
Hey,
knocking everybody out too.
man. Was sleeping.
Yes,
For real,
yeah.
indeed,
literally.
man.
And then I forgot to mention because of the hard work I was putting in my community, they reached out to me and did a couple of documentaries on my life story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
checked them out. Yeah, he checked out a few of them.
so
Yeah. I'm gonna link that
and
too
I
in the
put in that
chat.
work.
Got to bring that up.
We're gonna link that in the chat. I'm gonna link that down in the description also as well.
Yeah, and I put in that hard work into my community, just like I used to put it into when I was in the ring.
That's right.
And I
Right.
and
Mhm.
I got this post that say, you don't choose boxing, boxing choose you.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and boxing chose me to be a fighter.
Yes, indeed, man. You definitely a fight of life, man, which is the real fight, and you definitely winning that one, man. I love the adversity stories, the stories to overcome, because in life, the youth needs to realize that it's people out here that's champions. You just gotta go ask
Yeah,
and pay attention and learn. I was fortunate to have a father to give me that that advantage of paying attention to other stories.
yeah,
And so that's one of the things that drives me is hearing other stories and overcoming them. Because that's the
yeah,
greatest fight to have in life, man. It's
yeah,
definitely an honor for you, brother, to come on here, man. If for those that's listening, please hit the like and subscribe button, and also the
That's
notification bell as well, and subscribe to the channel, please. We got plenty of stories to share and plenty of champions. brother, we have panels on here. You're welcome to come on and join the panels of, we have different debates about who the best is, who got the best jab, who got the best hook, or things of that nature. So
Okay.
I would love to invite you on to some of them panels in the future.
Okay, just keep me in mind whenever you having something.
Will do, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
It was an honor and a pleasure to be on your show. I'm glad I finally made it. I
Yes,
feel like
indeed.
this almost like getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, indeed. We trying to duplicate
Because and I say that because y'all doing a great thing. Y'all doing a great thing. This is the best show. This is one of the best shows. This is the best show coming out of our area,
Yes,
covering
indeed.
what we doing over here on this side of the water. I don't even know of no other thing or shows as that can even qualify or stand up to it. So you're doing big things, you're doing good things, and I just looking forward to y'all continuing to grow, man. Y'all great topics, great questions. Y'all doing y'all thing. Keep
Appreciate you,
on
brother.
moving.
That's an honor to
Yeah,
hear
man.
that come from
Thanks,
you,
bro.
brother, man. We take that serious from the real legends, man. You definitely one of them, brother.
Thanks,
Ladies
I
and
appreciate it.
gentlemen, DMV boxing legend Tony Suggs Sr., the
You
second
make
win
me
boxing Windia. Peace. Okay, champ. Thank you, man.